one of my favorite people is leaving our church. She was a pastoral intern. I absolutely adore her, but her internship is over. So I'm going to make her a German chocolate cake since that's her favorite before she leaves. So I have 8 ounces of sweet German chocolate and a cup of water. So what I'm going to do is put those in the microwave to melt the chocolate and thin it out just a little bit. And we're going to heat this for 1.5 minutes. So we microwaved our chocolate and our water together. Now I'm just going to stir until I can get all of the chocolate to mix in with the water. So I don't have those chunks, but instead we have chocolate water. So we want all the chocolate melted and make it one consistency, and then we're going to let it cool off. If we add it too soon, before it has a chance to cool, we'll have scrambled eggs in the middle of our cake. That's not yummy. So while we let this cool, we're going to head over to the mixer. So while we're letting our chocolate water mixture cool, we're going to beat egg whites. So this recipe calls for 8 eggs separated. I have yolks in one bowl, and I have the 8 egg whites here. We are going to turn this on and whip probably about 5 minutes or until we get stiff peaks. That means that we can pull the whisk out and the peaks remain in the egg whites. So our egg whites are at stiff peaks. We can tell because they are maintaining their shape. So we're going to set these aside and get started on the rest of the cake. These are the last thing we add. Okay, so now I have a pound of butter. Yes, a pound, 4 sticks. That I am going to beat along with 4 cups of sugar. Here's my 4 cups of sugar. So we're going to cream these together for about 7 minutes or until it's all light and fluffy. We're just going to let that cream. So our butter and sugar are light and fluffy. Now we're going to add our egg yolks. These are the 8 egg yolks that went with the 8 egg whites that we whisked together earlier. So we're going to turn these on for 4 minutes. Get those nice and incorporated. All right, now our eggs fully incorporated. Well, egg yolks. We'll get to the egg whites in just a little bit. Now I'm going to add the chocolate water that we made earlier. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And we're going to let that mix. All right. Now we're going to take our spatula. I'm just going to scrape down the sides so that I can get all that butter that is sitting on the sides and get it mixed in again. Now I'm going to take 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Add that together and incorporate this into our chocolate. And we're going to alternate mixing our flour with our buttermilk. So it's 2 cups of buttermilk. And we're going to start and end with flour. So I'm going to take about 1 cup of the buttermilk. More flour. The other cup of buttermilk. And the last of the flour. Incorporate this fully. Then we're going to go over to the main table and we are going to gently fold in our egg whites. And now it's time for egg whites. So our chocolate part of the cake mixture, cake batter, is ready. I'm going to stir it just to make sure it's all combined. And you see there's still some white flecks in it. That means that there's stuff that got stuck to the side that didn't get fully mixed in, and we want to do that before we add our egg whites. All right, no white streaks. We're good to go. All right, so now I'm going to take our egg whites and drop them there. They go directly into the bowl. And then in order for a German chocolate cake to be light and fluffy, we need to keep those egg whites, the air in them. So we're going to lightly fold in. We don't use the mixer because the mixer breaks them up too much. We're just going to lightly fold or stir in our egg whites. And so I'm making a cake for our pastoral intern, who, I don't know if I've conveyed it enough. I'm really upset is leaving. I get it, she has to go, but I don't have to like it. And then I'm also making a smaller cake. So this is a doubled recipe. If you would like to do just one 8-inch round cake, cut everything I've told you in half. I'm going to make a 6-inch round cake for my mother-in-law and a 10-inch square cake for our pastoral intern. A little bit of egg white. So I've greased 3 10-inch square pans. They are with my pan grease, and I did a video on it, so now we know how I make pan grease. If you don't feel like watching it, just know that it's equal parts flour, vegetable oil, and vegetable shortening. mix together until you form kind of a batter is what it looks like. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of cake batter into each of my prepared pans. They're just covered in my pan grease. I'm going to go back through and add just a little bit more to each of these. Do is make sure that we spread it out over the whole pan. We don't just have one corner covered in batter. And I am again making a mess. But I'm a firm believer that if at the end of the day your kitchen is clean, before, or your kitchen is clean while you're baking, then you're probably not doing it right. Husband will tell you that he has had to clean chocolate off our ceilings, floors. Chocolate and I are very good friends. Alright, so we're going to bake these in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. So now we're going to make our coconut pecan frosting for our German chocolate cake. I'm going to start with 24 ounces of evaporated milk. This is the evaporated milk I made yesterday. There is a video on how to make your own evaporated milk. And then 8 egg yolks and a tablespoon of vanilla. And we are going to mix those in our saucepan until they're combined. And all the little egg yolks are broken up. Now, to this mixture, I'm going to add 3 cups of sugar. And stir. There we go. And then we're going to add 3 sticks of butter, or a cup and a half. I'm going to turn this on the heat to medium once I add the butter. And we're going to stir constantly for at least 12 minutes or until it turns like a golden brown caramel color. And gets real thick, because we wanted a spreading consistency to fit between the layers of our German chocolate cakes. Alright, so we're going to turn this on to medium. Set our timer for 12 minutes. And stir. So our frosting has been cooking for about 15 minutes. Took me a little longer to get that golden brown color I was looking for. So now I'm going to take it off the heat. Normally I would add my coconut and my pecans right here in this pan, but it's a little small. So we're going to come over here to this bowl and pour our golden sugar butter mixture out. And I'm going to add 14 ounces or 1 3/4 cup of sweetened coconut. And then I'm going to add 3 cups of chopped pecans. And then we're going to stir that in until it's all combined, and then we're going to let it cool down before we ice our cake. So our German chocolate cakes take about 25 minutes to cook. Toothpick comes out clean, that's how we know they're ready. We're going to let these cool down for another hour or so, and then we'll get our coconut pecan frosting if it's cool enough, and we'll frost our cake. Our cakes are cool, our frosting is cool. Now it is time to assemble our German chocolate cake. So I'm going to start with pulling the cakes out of the pans. There we go. I'm going to take my coconut pecan frosting and filling, put a big spoonful on it. We're just going to spread it around. And repeat. Then our last layer, we're going to do the same thing, only we are going to also add some pecan halves on the top for decoration. Okay, now I have some pecan halves. I'm just going to put sporadically throughout, just to make it look pretty. Now we're ready for our pastoral intern, her going away party.